All right, welcome back to the Punch Drunk MMA podcast. We're joining you from sunny Australia, where it's currently pissing down rain in Brisbane. My name is Chris Ferguson. I'm Australia's most underqualified podcast host, reporter, anything. I'm underqualified at everything. Joining me as always, the looks and the brawn behind this operation, Tristan Lauder, and 5-0 professional fighter Jarrett Wilbraham. Apart from the fucking technical issues that we just dealt with for the last, half an hour now, boys? Half an hour. Are we?
It's getting better.
Now,
yeah, man, I'm fucking good, bro.
You're doing two-a-days,
pretty
Tristan.
good. Yes, exactly, 2-a-days. Yeah.
How's that treating you,
training. Man? Yeah, man, it's been pretty good. I've been training morning and night these days, so it's pretty good. Getting pretty fucking tired. You come home from training, I don't know about you, Jarrett, but like your hands are kind of shaking from grappling and stuff, holding on, and I got like fucking Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I'm like, muscles died. But yeah, I'm good, man.
And yourself, Jarrett, you're on 2-a-days as well, I'm assuming, maybe more than?
Yeah, man, I'm kicking back. I'm back in the van, locked out, so things are good, man. Busy as always.
Lovely to hear. All right, we'll just go over some socials real quick. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. If you're audio only, please give us a rate and review on whatever various platform you're hearing us on. That always helps out. And don't forget to give us a follow on social media. CFerg MMA on Twitter for myself, Punch Drunk MMA on Instagram, J-Will Chillerman for Jarrett on Instagram, and Elk Meat MMA on Instagram for the homie Tristan. And finally, if you want to reach out with any fan questions or ideas for the podcast, anything like that, shoot us an email to it is punchdrunkmmapod, all one word, @gmail.com. Oh, I shouldn't have chugged that beer before we come on live.
Dude, someone's gonna drink a beer every single time we do this.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tradition.
It wouldn't be punch drunk without it.
So I don't know. I guess the biggest topic from coming out of UFC 274 was obviously the main event and all the fiasco surrounding it. But Charles Oliveira defeats Justin Gaethje by submission at 3 minutes and 22 seconds into the first round. Yeah, pretty crazy start to it, lads. Tristan, do you want to start us off? What were your thoughts on this?
Crazy fucking fight, friends. Crazy fucking fight. Just from the get-go, any fucking Charles Oliveira fight, it's gonna be on from the fucking. As soon as the buzzer rings, man, that man is walking forward, ready to kill you. So that. Fuck, I love watching his fights, boys. That's all I gotta say, Like, especially like after, the previous one, you know what I mean? Like, that was like watching, I don't know, like just the fucking best action movie you could ever watch in your entire life, But yeah, it's super impressed. Like, just a fucking great fight. And Charles's power fucking surprising. Always fucking strong in the clinch. Always fucking elbows, knees. Just love seeing that shit. Like, just got a very unique fight style.
Jarrett,
what do
you reckon, brother?
Yeah, man. Well, I think it's odd watching him because there's no other fighter like him where he can walk forward. When he takes a big hit, he can just sit down on the mat on his ass and just get a bit of a breather there. And just nobody wants to jump in his guard. He's so dangerous. So I'd love to have that sort of jiu-jitsu where it was that well respected that I could just go down whenever I want. Like, in boxing, they don't want to go down. You see them balancing around trying to stay on their feet, but he's smart about it. So it's great. I again doubted him. I thought Gaethje was going to. Yeah, do we all?
Me too. Every time, every fucking time.
I had Charles, baby.
Yeah.
I had Charles.
Yeah, Charles, nice, man. You can't count him out. But man, he took some punishment there. How wild was Gaethje throwing? Hey, one of his punches, he threw it and missed and landed on his stomach or something.
Oh, he did it in the Chandler fight.
Lucky
too.
That one didn't land.
In the Chandler fight too. I think he did a similar thing and threw one so hard he just hit air and spun himself around, man. And it's just like, bro, just take a little bit off, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's funny. Dan Hooker actually mentioned that as well, as about being able to just go down on your back and take a 10-second breather and not having to worry about someone coming down after you. You know what I mean? You just go to have a lie down, recompose, get back to your feet, and just start moving forward again. It's a there's nobody else I think in maybe in the Tony Ferguson's kind of like that as well. A lot of people don't like following him down, but for the most part, man, he's the only guy that can do that, especially in the lightweight division.
Yeah, I know Diaz used to do it a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess like
But he's
Damian Maya
yeah.
too. I guess
Oh,
like
yeah,
I guess
true.
he's like a real jiu-jitsu dude. So
It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it makes me like question. Like, I mean, I know he took some big shots and he obviously got dropped, but like, I think one of those ones, it was kind of like a delayed reaction. Like, he's obviously like a bit wobbly. Probably could have stayed up and just went, yeah, fuck it, I'll just have a rest on the ground.
Is that when he like pushed him away for front kick and then he like sat down on his
and
butt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a break.
Yeah, very.
Well,
yeah.
excuse me, sir. I will just have a nap now.
Yeah, crazy. It was brawl right out of the gate, pretty much. Honestly, he did manage to check a couple of leg kicks in the later rounds, which was, I mean, that was not looking good for Gaethje either way. Because once he starts getting them checked, and Charles is just continually moving forward, there's no escape from him. There's nowhere for him to go at that point.
Because he's so light on his front foot. So when Gaethje went to kick his front foot, he just lifted up his leg and just moved in straight into the clinch. And that's when he started to attack there.
Mm.
I thought that was impressive. I've never really seen that. I guess that's bringing back that like Muay Thai stance. Again, he doesn't care if you're going to shoot on him and take him down, so he can have that stance if he wants.
He might be the most well-rounded fighter in the lightweight division, maybe. As like his striking,
he might be the most well-rounded fighter altogether.
Leagues above from where it was, and man, even his power. I don't know. I underrate his power. There's something about my head. It's like you look at him and you're like, no, Charles doesn't have power. And then he gets in the ring and puts people on their ass, and you're like, what? Why? Why do I do this to myself every single time, man? I just fade him. I fade him every single time.
Dude, he sent fucking Gaethje flying, in the last one, dude. Like, holy shit. And like, even the first, I think, straight he hit Gaethje, whether you see Gaethje's a bit wobble from that. So.
Yeah. I think he surprises people, man. When he touches them, I honestly think he surprises people.
I think a nice straight punch is always going to be a lot more power. Arcing hook or even like an overhand. You see guys throw them with some power, but it's not that snap at the end of the punch. I think that's what he's perfected, which gives him the ability to always keep his hands up. Although even though he does get hit a lot too. But...
To be fair, man, I think maybe we need to cut him to some slack. Like, I can't remember how much he said. He's got like 80% vision or something in the ring when he fights. Could you imagine that man with 100% vision, like 20/20 vision?
He doesn't move his head though, as well. You know, his head's always on the center line when he's throwing punches. He doesn't punch like a boxer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's super Muay Thai.
Definitely more of a Muay Thai style. You're right.
Muay Thai.
Up straight. Sure. But yeah, what about the fucking fiasco beforehand with the weights and stuff? Hey, what's your guys' thoughts there?
Man, there was some news coming out today. So Mark Ratner, who's the UFC's VP of Regulatory Affairs, that deals with all, deals with all the commissions and stuff, and I think he actually used to be on the New York State Athletic Commission, possibly. Anyway, he's come out and said the issue was with the scale backstage, not the official scale that they all weigh in on, but the digital scale backstage, and come about apparently due to the kilograms to pounds swap that European and Australian fighters and everyone that's on the metric system like normal fucking people does.
Tell him.
Metrical bust,
Tell him, bro.
metrical bust. So, yeah, look, I don't know. It apparently just wasn't calibrated correctly. But, man, it's a 0.5 of a pound miss. Should he have been stripped, Jarrett? Do you reckon he should have been stripped?
You got to make weight, I guess. Rules are rules. It's unfortunate what did happen. Like, have you heard the fight dietitian talk about it?
No, not really. I saw him post something about it as it was happening, maybe the day that it happened, but he didn't really elaborate on anything.
Yeah. So he was talking about the fact that he should have been able to go back and sweat out that little bit of extra weight, which I think he did try to do. But the problem with how a lot of Brazilians cut weight is they do like a water taper. So he hadn't drank water for like 48 hours.
Jesus.
And then, yeah, so you've got to imagine you would have nothing to sweat
taking
out.
blood from a stone at that point, eh?
So we do a water load, which is, I guess you're hydrating all the muscles to then release all the fluid. So there's always going to be more fluid that you can draw out, where a water taper sounds like a bad idea.
True, eh? Yeah, I thought it was like, it's like you said, I
Yeah.
think you said it, Jarrett, the other day, you're like, it's fucking 0.5 per kilo, just like shave your hair off or something.
Yeah, like you would at
You
that
know?
point, right?
Yeah.
Surely.
But then he can't get rid of his fucking blonde hair, man. He's gone Super Saiyan. He's been winning streaks since then.
The thing is, like, regardless of the fact that he's been stripped, I don't think there's many people that don't view him as the rightful lightweight champion at this point, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
sure.
just a belt at this point.
But it's like, where do you draw the line? If you say, oh, no, Oliveira, it's only
Right.
half a pound, well, then everybody, when the stakes are that high and you can get away with missing weight, you're going to do it to keep the
Yeah,
the
no,
belt.
I definitely get that. I definitely get that. But with the confirmation from the fucking the state commission and stuff, and to be fair, maybe Mark Ratner's not part of that state commission anymore, but he's come out and said that that's what the issue was. Obviously, there was some sort of issue there in the first place, which, you know, I don't agree. 100% you should, if you're defending a championship belt, you should be making weight. But there's an obvious sort of issue there, and, you know, you can always go back to, like you said, Tristan, like with they don't cut weight smart, for lack of a better word. And you can put it on that, but, yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of funny to me stripping it when there's a little bit behind the scenes going on, and I don't know. Does that mean he's not getting pay-per-view points for the vacant title fight? You know what I mean? That's a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
It's a really weird situation, isn't it? Like, it's just super weird. It's weird that he's the number one contender now. Like, it's just my head can't wrap around that. You know? Like, you just won a championship fight. He was a champion beforehand, but now he's the contender. It just doesn't make no sense. Man.
Could you imagine looking back in the history books at this and being like, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah, literally. First time in UFC history that's happened there.
Yeah, so I think the closest thing was Nico Montagna pulling out. She had a horrible weight cut before the defense against, fuck me, I can't remember who that was now. Juliana Pena, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, but she pulled out maybe a day or two before the fight because she just had a horrible weight cut. She wasn't going to make the weight, and they stripped her for that. But Charles showed up ready to fight, 0.5 of a pound over, you know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I thought it was a bit rough. I'm fucking with my lights live here as well.
It's
Sorry,
definitely...
boys, my face is changing colours.
You're a good man.
Yeah, it's definitely rough, but like, what do you do? Honestly, what can you do?
It kind of leads on to the next sort of question there. What happens next? My vote, I mean, it's got to be Makhachev, really. Benil's out and injured. I don't think there's anyone else unless Volk steps up, but he's got Max in. When is that? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not happening, is it?
No.
Yeah, fuck it. McGregor, baby. The notorious baby comes back.
He didn't seem too interested because Charles called him out afterwards.
No, he didn't. Yeah. Well, I saw a thing that posted today too about him like being out till November, if not early next year. So I guess that's probably why, like, you know, there's some time between. So yeah, I guess that pretty much leaves like Makhachev, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is a super interesting fight, and that's like a fight I've been wanting to see for forever, basically. So
there's so many questions surrounding that. Like, if Makhachev loses, does Khabib come back? What chance does Makhachev have in the first place? Like, I genuinely don't know. Makhachev's got to be the favourite, but I don't think you can confidently put him as a massive favourite as much as you'd put him against anyone else in that division.
Did you see what Chandler did to Oliveira when he got though?
And just pummeled him.
He pummeled him, man.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, you can imagine what Islam's going to do.
But who won that fight, though?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Don't stand up. That's funny. You thought that the way to beat Oliveira is to not stand up with him.
Oh, man. Again, yeah, Dan Hooker touched on that as well. He reckons UFC 281 in Abu Dhabi later this year in October. He said, I guarantee that Makhachev is getting a title shot on that card, regardless of whether it's Oliveira or someone else at that point. So, I don't know. He said there's bigger things at play. There's big money at play over there. Those boys kind of get what they want.
Yeah, why is that? Is there a reason behind that? Like they have some kind of connection to Abu Dhabi? Like, are there big name draws there?
Yeah. So I mean, Makhachev, Eastern Hemisphere, any Muslim country, he's an absolute superstar, man.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So
he's really fucking mates with the Sultans, eh?
Yeah, man, 100%. So
we over there fucking in yachts and I don't know.
Yeah,
chicks dance around in golden bikinis. And he's just fucking there, still training, not even paying attention. Eh?
Why do you think Dana White is so impressed with them lads?
You know some pretty crazy dictators as well, so you don't want to
Kadyrov?
make the. You don't want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. You want Islam on the main card? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
of
no,
course.
100%. No dramas at all. You want Khabib back? I can get Khabib back for you too. All right, well, we're going to have to talk about it. Color Esparza defeats Rose Namajunas by split decision on the judges' scorecards after a contender for the most lackluster UFC title fight in history. I was willing to, and I think I messaged the group chat in the first and second round, and someone was like, "Nah, it's a bit slow, it's a bit boring." And I was like, "You know what? No, I'll give him a chance. I'm feeling out process." And then by the end of the third round and into the fourth, I was like, "Nah, it's a stinker. It's just a stinker. It's nothing you can do." Yeah, thoughts on that, boys? What do you reckon, Tristan? We'll start with you.
Dude, in a way, man, I'm happy, man. I've had fucking insomnia my whole life. And now, dude, I watch that for fucking a few minutes. I'm straight to sleep, bro. I'm happy out. But yeah, man, like, I don't know. There's something about, like, as soon as that first round was in there, I could just feel like this is going to be a boring-ass fucking fight, man. And, like, at that one point, the crowd was booing, and Pat Barry was like, "You hear that? That's the game plan. That's exactly what we want." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! Like, what are they doing?" So, I mean, yeah, they gave it to fucking Carla, and I mean, to be honest, like watching that fight, I feel like she was controlling the cage more, maybe being a bit more of a aggressor. Like Rose was just, staying out of danger the whole time. So I feel like, fuck it, fair enough. But yeah, Jarrett, what about you, man? What do you think?
This is so weird, but I was off the fight the moment Rose started walking out, and I don't even know why, because like I'm a huge Rose fan, but as soon as I seen her and she was walking out going, "I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best," I was just thought to myself, why is she still doing this? It's just actually making me feel uncomfortable now. If it's that horrible and hard that you got to walk out and keep affirming to yourself that you're the best, it just looks traumatic for her to go through it. So I was kind of like, I'm already off this fight. I don't know how this is going to go. And I was saying that to Michaela. And then when it started, it's like Rose just didn't want to engage. And you kind of understand it with her whole attitude towards fighting. She doesn't really enjoy it that much. She just wants to go out, prove that she's the best. Well, for a few jabs each round, not get hit and win the fight that way. But when a fight comes so close, you got to go back to like the third tier of judging, and that would be on, octagon control and aggression, even if there's no damage being landed. And I don't think Rose was the aggressor in that fight.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. I wasn't sure to begin with, man. Before I get stuck into my thoughts on it, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just disappointed. And even more so, my wife come out to sit. She doesn't generally watch the fights with me. She must have heard it being announced. Yeah, she heard it being announced. So she's come out and she sat down and watched it with me. And I'm like, how good is this? She's getting into it. Awesome. And after the first round, she's like, is it normally this slow? And I'm like, oh, look, they're just feeling each other out. It's all good. They're just, they'll come good. And then by the end of the third, she was just saying, she just walked away. And I was just like, that was my one shot. That was my one shot at getting my wife keen into MMA. And it just got ruined.
So now you have a fucking vendetta against Rose Namajunas. That's what you're saying.
I love her. I think she's fantastic. I really do. But yeah, that didn't do it for me, that fight. I'll read out some stats. and total strikes for Rose, 38 of 137, and 30 of 133 for Carla. And that output's a little high for my, like, I don't think it was that high. I think they were counting feints. They were counting a heap of feints in that output, I think, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
Rose is really out fainting right now.
yeah, I was doing some research earlier today and looking at, actually, you know what it was? It was the Chandler and Ferguson fight. They threw more strikes in one round than the total of the entire 5 rounds between them two. There was just nothing going on.
Easily,
man.
probably, yeah.
Absolutely. 4 punches in round 1.
So just to backtrack a little bit too, but dude, Jarrett, honestly, man, I'm fucking so over the I'm the best thing as well. Dude, I don't know, I was just getting mad cringe every time she's saying that when she's walking out. I'm like, okay, man, like, you get it. Like, I don't know, like, I guess everyone's gonna hype themselves up some way. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but...
I mean, they have to say it that often, then you mustn't believe it, though, deep down.
True, yeah, that could be it too, eh? Sure.
You know, usually the ones going around saying they're the best probably don't believe it. Like, I don't know, it brought tears to my eyes when she won the title, and then Joe Rogan's like, you know, I can't remember what he said, and she's like, I am the best. You know, that was like so amazing moment. But now it's starting to steer in the other direction. But I tell you what's funny though, I was at the pub watching it, so I had the UFC on one screen, and then I had the Canelo fight right next to it on the other screen. But my mate was like, did you see that? Did you see that? And I'm like, see what? Nothing's happening. He's like, no, the boxing. And I was still watching the UFC fight.
They got you hook, line, and sinker, Jarrett, eh? Oh, God.
Well, I'm thinking, like, anything can happen in a UFC fight, you know? And then in boxing, it's like, oh, he's got 10 seconds to stand back up.
Yeah, true.
I won't miss the end of the fight. I don't know. It's weird. It just made me put everything into perspective. It was probably the most entertaining on and the most boring MMA fight, and I still couldn't get my eyes off the UFC.
Did you
see? But Rose did some awesome footwork like stuff. She did some really cool footwork patterns that I'd like to go back and look at.
Man, like that's her footwork and her movement was on point, but she just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, you can't win by pretty footwork.
No, not at all. I still haven't. Did you watch any of the Bivol fight at all? I didn't get to see any of it. I still haven't gone back and rewatched it. The
what one? Sorry.
Fight.
Oh, just bits and pieces. Yeah, Canelo was getting it put on him hard.
Rough night.
Yeah, rough night indeed.
Who do you boys think is at fault for the pace of the fight? That's on Rose. You reckon that was on Rose entirely? Is it on the coaches, Whitman and Pat Barry at all? I mean, you said that before, Tristan. They were kind of like, Rose has come out on record and said, Trevor Whitman said she was 4 rounds up heading into the 5th. Like,
that's pretty mental, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's pretty mental. Yeah. I mean, like, I guess everyone's in fault too. Like, I mean, you can't not blame Carla for a bit too. Like, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Just one of those things that is a culmination of all these different factors that just led to that fucking dog shit piece of a fight, you know. But anyway, Jarrett, actually, question for you, man. Like, as a fighter, could you ever, like, what kind of mind frame would you have to be like get in the cage and have a fight like that? Like what would you?
I probably would have 2 broken hands and maybe 2 broken toes.
I reckon you'd still be.
And I just don't know what. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really like a person that's very conscious of being in a boring fight. It's my biggest fear.
Wow.
And like fighting against wrestlers is like, not that I feel that wrestlers are the style that's like I'll have problems with, but it's the fear that they're going to keep me down on the mat or against the cage for extended periods of time without doing anything. And then people are going to say, oh, that was a boring fight. I'd rather lose an exciting fight, I think, than win a boring one.
See, that's interesting. I could dig into this a little bit. We might save it for another time. But at some point, do you think that's going to become a liability?
It's an entertainment business at the end of the day. You're getting paid for how many asses are getting put on seats, and you're getting paid for how many people tune into a pay-per-view. And I think at the end of the day, it's entertainment.
You're not a fighter that's... I mean, you obviously got an undefeated record at the moment, but you're not a fighter that's super fussed on whether you stay undefeated or, you're probably going to cop some losses at some point.
I'd rather be like a fighter, maybe like a Nate Diaz or Michael Chandler or Gaethje
Yeah.
than to be a Khabib. Too much pressure being Khabib.
Mm.
Got to go out and win. Michael Chandler goes out and loses. It's like his stock just keeps
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah.
50K bonuses every time he goes
That
out
leads
there.
us pretty nicely onto this topic. We should probably move along because I don't really want to spend any more time on that fight than we need to be quite honest. Oh, look, I'll run over this. Dana said no to a rematch. Winner of Joanna and Whaley should be up next. Probably Marina Rodriguez next for Rose. They might do Mackenzie Dern. I don't know. Anything else to add there, boys?
Nah, sounds good.
Oh, just don't listen to anything I say because I said last week Rose was going to win because Trevor Whitman was in her corner.
Oh, I can't wait to get in the fucking bet section this week. My God. All right, yeah. So moving on to Michael Chandler defeating Tony Ferguson 17 seconds into the second round with just one of the most brutal fucking head kicks I think I've ever seen. That and the Chito Vera Frankie Edgar head kick are up there in the same category for me. Didn't he look good early, but Tony?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, man, that first round was a fucking privilege to watch, man. I was like, oh shit, he's
Vintage,
back!
bro.
Like that was like the coolest feeling. Yeah, vintage, man, vintage, and fucking, yeah, looking sharp, just fucking sharp. Defensively, pretty good too. Like considering it's Tony, with his hands like sort of parrying and stuff like that, which is good to see. And just fucking sticking it to Chandler, which is cool to see, man. And off his back, we know he's fucking dangerous off his back, but he's doing work down there.
Man, those elbows are nasty, eh? You always forget how nasty they are until he puts them on you.
Yeah, and just fucking rolling with the strikes from Chandler as well, and doesn't take much damage down there. So yeah, that was awesome.
I looked at the strikes. They were even on the feet. Chandler had more strikes on the ground as well, obviously, but on the feet they were dead even, which I don't know. That was a little bit surprising. I didn't see. I wanted Tony to come out and look that good and win. I'm happy that he come out and looked that good and lost, but yeah, I don't know. It's still not super reassuring to see him get beaten like that.
Who do you think won the first round? Because Tony got the knockdown.
Tony winning the first.
Yeah, me too.
He landed a lot of strikes, a lot of elbows off his back.
Post-fight call-out.
My heart broke though. My heart absolutely broke. I was the only one seated. The whole pub went to their feet, and I just sat there and just was blank.
Man, no good. Pardon me. What did you make of the post-fight call-out? I mean, you didn't get to hear it, did you, Jarrett? Sorry, you just said that before.
Oh shit, Jarrett.
Dude,
you missed out, man. You missed out. Fucking Mike Chandler going straight WWE again. Ric Flair.
Proper cutting the
so
promo.
good. Calling everybody out.
Look,
was it good? Or was it cringe?
It was good. It was good. I was pumped as fuck after that.
I thought it was a little. That's what he was going for. He's playing the roll up that you know what I mean, like the pull yourself up by the bootstraps, like promo, like you know what I mean. Like he was definitely cutting a promo, and he wanted it to sound the way that it did. But even through all that, it was too much for me, man. It was too much drama. It was too much like. I don't know. It's not the WWE. Yep.
I like that he's pretty respectful though, even though he doesn't. He never talks shit about
that's
it.
What I don't like. That's what I don't like. If you're gonna talk, if you're gonna talk shit about, like, I don't know. Maybe.
Could you imagine fucking Mike Chandler though, like American fucking hardworking man, adopts kids, fucking does his thing, and then all of a sudden he's going, "Oh my God, you're Irish cunt." I don't know. I put an accent on it for that. But, like,
that was actually funny, to do that again.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Nah, pressure's on now. But that'd be so weird to see Mike Chandler talk shit. Bro.
Yeah.
I agree with you there, Tristan. Like, some people just don't have it in them. Some people are just honestly that nice. They're just nice humans, even though they're doing the most violent sport. Like, to talk shit, you got to have some level of asshole in you, which does help. Like, see, I think I do a good job of, like, keeping my asshole at bay, but it's definitely there.
We're talking about fun here, aren't we?
Yeah.
In the van's a different story.
In general. And, Connor's just like, and at first everyone was like, "Oh, it's just an act. It's just an act." As time went on, old men getting punched out in bars. No, like the guy was an arsehole. He played the part pretty well because that's
Yeah,
who.
that's a very good point. I get that. I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
But
Yeah, you.
it's funny though when you like think about these fucking post interviews and like their big speeches and shit. I just think about how many times do they fucking practice this in the mirror before they've gone and done it.
So that's exactly when I saw him, and especially when he like turned and took that deep breath and turned his head and come back to the microphone. I was like, mate, you have practiced that like a million times in the mirror. Because to be fair to him, he fucking nailed it. He absolutely fucking nailed it. But yeah, you can tell, you can just tell it was so rehearsed, and that's what got me. But I don't know, it works. It definitely works for some people, man, and it makes him money. So who am I to fucking judge? I'm just a jaded, grumpy, whatever.
Punch drunk motherfucker.
Exactly. Which is why I'm on YouTube and he's on ESPN.
Yeah. I just don't think that people put enough importance on their post-fight speech because you only get to fight 2 or 3 times in a year. And when you finally get there, you're able to set yourself up for the next position that you want to move to. And a lot of people, when they say, "What do you want next?" they go, "I'll just go back and talk to the UFC." It's like, dude, surely there's someone ranked above you that you think you can beat. Like, even if it's your easiest fight, say, "I want to fight that dude." Call him out, offend him a little bit. He has to fight you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Call out someone.
Just look, I get that. I'm a massive proponent for that, and it annoys the shit out of me when, like you said, when Joe Rogan or when Daniel Cormier comes up and they're like, who do you want to fight? And they're like, gives them the opportunity, like telling you, like, this is how you get ahead. And they're like, I'll just, go back to the drawing board and I'll talk to my team. And it's just like, bro, just say someone's name. But you don't have to cut a promo the way that Michael Chandler did and go all the way over the top. I think, I don't know, man, just a bit of banter. And I think that's something Americans really struggle with, is a bit of banter between people. But you'll see Australians do it. They'll have a dig at someone, but respectfully. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
What's his name? That crazy horse that Caleb Rideout. Did you see his post-fight speech? When he knocked out on Eternal, it was like the last Eternal. He knocked that guy out to spin an elbow. I reckon, man, his speech was so classic. Like, he ended up calling out the guy that was backstage about to walk out and fight. He's like, "You've been ducking me for years, and now we're both here at Eternal." Like, it was just great. Like, it was just so entertaining, man. He on a rant. Like, good on that bloke. He's entertaining.
Beautiful. Yeah. Chandler's 2-2 in the UFC. What do you think? Where is his place? Is his place fighting for titles, or is his place in money fights? Like the Conor, you reckon titles?
It's because he always talks about striving for greatness and all that sort of stuff.
Has he got it in him though?
He's got that ability to just knock you out. He's got the wrestling. He's got the cardio. I reckon he just needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even the Gaethje fight, I feel like he probably could have, done more to win that instead of just fucking hands down walking like a madman.
I'm not sure. So I don't know if I agree. I think he fought his fight or tried to fight his fight in the beginning rounds, and they just went to war, and Gaethje won. Like, I don't. If he wanted to fight smarter, Gaethje would have fought smarter as well. And I think Gaethje outsmarts him on the feet. I think Gaethje's a much more technical striker than Chandler is.
That's fair.
But he had a double leg, and instead of just putting him down on the mat, controlling him and winning the round and possibly the fight, he put him on his shoulders, jumped in the air, slammed him, and Gaethje ended up on the top.
Yeah, and fucking fell on his head.
That was for the crowd, man. That was for the crowd.
And that's why he's probably earning $1 million per fight, because he'll do shit like that regardless of his record and regardless of the win or loss. Eh?
He needs it for his medical bills.
I don't know where I stand on Tony fighting again. What do you boys reckon?
Oh man, I think that this is what's going to happen when you're fighting the best guys. Like, anything can happen. It's just hard. Like, obviously something's broken. Like, there's a mental battle going on in his head, because to go from winning 12 in a row to get back on that of being unstoppable would be quite hard. But I think, well, what are we going to do? Start feeding him to all the young up and comers?
No, you can't, man. And, I mean, fuck. Who am I to say they can't? They can, and they do it all the time. But like, there's got to, and that's why I liked the Donald Cerrone and Joe Lozon fight, because they're two blokes that should be fighting each other. That's a fun fight to watch. They're evenly matched.
Yeah,
They're of a similar age. Like, they almost need a Masters division. You know what I mean? Like, an over 50s. But, like...
No, that'd be just like watching that fucking Shogun OSP fight. Fuck that.
They've got that. It's called Bellator.
But they're no better there as well, though, man, because they do the same thing. They feed the old vets to the young wolves, which is that's the way the fight game goes.
Yeah, that's true.
By nature, that's how the fight game goes. But I mean,
Dude,
surely we're at the point where you can see someone's past their prime. But who am I to tell someone they shouldn't fight anymore? Like, when does that become my job? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm in two minds. That's what I said. I don't know where I stand because I'm in two minds about it. But it breaks my heart, bro. It breaks my heart.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, actually, a good fight for fucking Tony would be Dan Hooker.
That's I don't know.
Coming off a bit of a skid,
It's a good fight to watch, but as Jarrett said last week, I don't know if I want to see either of them boys in any more wars. Yeah,
well,
that's true. Yeah, wouldn't be good for the brain cells.
I don't mind the Conor fight. I think the Conor fight is good for both of them to see where they're both at.
Yeah, I think Conor or Nate, like Tony deserves his big payday.
Yeah.
He missed out on it with Khabib,
5 times. Oh, who fucking
what, 3
knows,
times,
bro,
4 times?
Who
God.
knows?
And the tear that he went on and pretty much gave his belt away. He deserves something that's gonna, set him up for the future.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with him.
I've been thinking about that though too. Like, he built himself up. Like a lot of people, he built up a huge following.
Yeah.
That's how he got so popular, as well as his fighting. Like, do you think he could go down some like different route where he goes somewhere down that sort of line and still makes a lot of money?
Dude, I want a fucking Tony Ferguson podcast, baby. Give me that shit. Give me that shit. At least get that man on Joe Rogan.
I think.
Or Tony.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
You go.
I was going to say, what about Tony Ferguson and David Goggins go on a tour?
Bro, you know how they've got those masterclass, like everyone's got their own masterclass fucking thing now, like, it's like a subscription service where there's like famous directors and famous authors and chefs that like produce like a 10 episode series and tell you how to do things that they do. I would pay obscene amounts of monies just to get like a 10 episode workout regime from Tony Ferguson. That would do numbers, man. Eh? But like, no, I don't think no matter what he does, man, he could retire from MMA and go do fun boxing fights and make money there, and I'm still gonna watch him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm following him. There's no way I'm not gonna go watch Tony box.
100%.
Yeah, agreed.
100%.
We're coming close on 40 minutes, so we might skip on to the next topic here, lads. 274 highlights. Run over this quickly. Brendan Royval submits Matt Schnell at 2 minutes and 14 seconds into the first round. Jarrett, you had a fantastic break. Oh, there go my lights. There, you had a fantastic breakdown on this on Instagram, mate. Why don't you walk us through this one?
Amazing. Like, 1 minute he's getting put into a guillotine, and then he obviously knew it was coming, and he's rolled out the right way. And the reason he's so good at doing that is because we just seen how good he is at locking up his own guillotine. And Matt, like, Schnell just didn't get back to his feet the right way, and he just kind of stuck his neck up and just jumped straight on his neck. Royval just seen it and jumped straight on his neck, and it was cool. You seen him; he was already tapping before he even had it locked up with 2 hands.
He knew he was done.
Just like one hand, and he was already tapping. He just pushed the hand across. Yeah, awesome, man. It was like one of the highlights of the card for me.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He's fucking cracked. He's top 5 flyweight again. He just moved up to number 5 when the rankings came out this week. So always good to see. I don't know who else. Who else is in the flyweight division unmatched at the moment? At the top of 5, Pantoja. Is Pantoja matched? That'll be a
Not
good
sure.
fight.
What about that? Where's that Askarov guy? Where's he ranked? Is that his name? The Fort Kai?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. No, he's a bit. He was second. Hang on, I can pull up. Well, I have the technology. I'll do it here.
I thought he was up there.
Yeah, no, he was second before that fight. It'd be interesting to see where he come back up. But yeah, anyway, that was a super fun finish, man. I really enjoyed that. And then Andre Fiallo knocks out Cameron Van Camp at 2 minutes and 35 seconds into round 1 in that fight. Fiallo moves to 16-0. Fuck, he wishes. 16-4. But all 16 wins coming by knockout, and it's only the second knockout on Van Camp. So Fiallo's obviously got power. Yeah, I've definitely got my eye on that kid coming forward. Askarov is currently 3rd, apparently.
Don't you think it's good having a guy like that right up there in the top of the division, because it just causes all those flyweights to just get so good at scrambling? Yeah. And then the fights are just so entertaining right
funny,
up the
man.
top.
I used to play online games when I was younger a fair bit, and everyone always talks about the meta in the online game for certain patches and stuff. It's like the meta changes depending on who's at the top of the division in each division. Like, yeah, it's crazy it's funny how it works like that.
Yeah, it is.
Other highlights, what do we got going on? Rematch between Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara France is booked for UFC 277 on July 30. 5-round bout for interim gold. Pretty fun fight. Davison is out with hand injuries, so that sort of explains the interim matchup there. I don't know. Moreno got the W last time by unanimous decision. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, actually, I haven't.
That's a hell of a
I
fight.
haven't watched that fight,
man.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Moreno definitely won the fight, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Any thoughts on the first one, Jarrett? Do you remember watching the first one?
Did it go the whole way, or did Kai get knocked down?
Got it by UD here. I'll double check. I'm pretty sure it was.
No, you might be right.
I feel like did Moreno fucking like wrestle him a fair bit on the?
Yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah, no, it was UD. It was the UD.
Yeah, right. So Moreno's just got he'd have such a reach advantage there too, wouldn't he? Against Kai, I'd think.
I think like literally
Kai
everybody has a reach advantage.
Oh no, Brandon Moreno,
Kai,
5'7", 70-inch reach.
Damn, that's pretty long for him.
Yeah.
He definitely has a reach advantage. I don't know. I wonder what Kai's is. I don't know.
Kai's got to get inside anyway.
That's what he does,
66.5 for Kai. But yeah, that's
what
exactly right.
On hammers.
And that's why he ends up inside every single fight, because he does have quite a short reach, the poor bastard.
And his wrestling will be so much better after fighting that Askarov.
I think his defensive wrestling is pretty underrated anyway nowadays. Like, yeah, he showed that in that fight, man. He is very fucking well-rounded.
Some of the best, I think.
And in other news, Nate Diaz and Michael Chandler have been chatting on Twitter and have agreed to fight on July 30. Who the fuck knows if that's going to happen, but I think that's a great fight for both of them as well.
Yeah, it's been entertaining.
It's funny.
Nate Diaz just needs to fucking fight somebody and then fuck out of the UFC and do boxing or whatever he wants to do. Like, let's just see him doing his last fight.
Yeah, he put out today on Twitter, he said, UFC got me on ice for a year now. Chandler's obviously ready to fight, send a contract, it's time. Like, just sick of playing games, the cunt. He's like, just fucking do it.
It's over it, eh? But, like, what's that mean? Like, they agree on Twitter. That's like agreeing with your brother that you're gonna have chocolate ice cream on the weekend, but your parents aren't even gonna buy it for you. Like Dana's like, I never said anything about that.
Oh, I fucking love that analogy.
Gotta ask
That's
your dad
brilliant,
first.
Everyone's fighting everyone on Twitter.
It's so true.
UFC fighters are like literally keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do to get the cash, apparently. All right, this weekend's card, it's a little bit light outside of the main and the co-main. Jan Blachowicz taking on Alexander Rakic, and Ryan Spann taking on Cutelaba. We'll do a bit of a breakdown of Rakic and Jan. Jan, 39 years old, coming off a title loss to Glover Teixeira. The 30-year-old Rakic is coming off 2 straight unanimous decision wins over Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos, respectively. Another one I'm not super sure on. I like Rakic, and Dan Hardy actually had a really good breakdown on this fight, and there was something he said. Jan retreats with his rear hand down, and Rakic has taken advantage. Who was it? I did write it down. Jimmy Manuwa, he did a similar thing. So he come in southpaw, lead uppercut, right cross, shifted at the same time, and as Manu was moving back with his hands down, throws out what is now the rear high kick, rear head kick, and just clocks him in and puts him out. It was beautiful to see, and I don't know, the way Dan Hardy, I'm putting money on it. The way that Dan Hardy explained it, I was like, no, you know what? That's exactly what's going to happen.
Add it to your bets.
Yeah, 100%. What do you boys think of this one?
Well, yeah, I think like what you're saying, that technique there, like the normal Thai style, or even when people hit pads, it's usually like left, right, and then the opposite side. He's in southpaw like that. He throws the jab, then he throws the cross, and then brings that high kick behind it. You're literally hiding the kick straight behind the cross. So all they see is a punch coming, and the worst thing is if they slip to the outside of it to avoid that punch, which is the appropriate thing to do, straight into that head kick. Like TJ Dillashaw would do it a lot.
Whitaker as well.
Whitaker, yeah, that's his bread and butter, isn't it? So yeah, I can see that coming, and man, that guy can kick hard too.
Yeah, he's
baseball bat.
Deadly. Tristan, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in him for sure. I do like Jan as well, so it'd be kind of interesting to see him get back in the ring, or in the octagon, sorry. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I've heard Rakic I haven't actually seen his last couple of fights, but I heard they're pretty boring. So I'm hoping it's not, another kind of boring main event. Hopefully Jan maybe pushes the pace or something. I'm not quite sure, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Again, I'm not super one way or the other on that one. I do like Rakic. I hope he gets up, but who wants to see Jan lose though? You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for him if he's another Tony, man. You don't want to see him lose, eh? He's too nice of a person.
Tell you what, it's like not an easy fight to bet on, and it's the only one that had markets available to bet on.
Really?
So you left me in a hard spot with me bets.
Australian bookies need to sort their shit out, hey? That's ridiculous, man.
Oh no,
that's fucking disgusting.
They're waiting to see who puts all the money on what, which one's back the most, and then they release all
Vegas
of
get
the
live odds. We get fucking like watered down Vegas odds 3 days after they fucking come out, eh? In the co-main, Ryan Spann taking on Cutelaba, both light heavyweight bouts, which is interesting. I'm high on Cutelaba. Any of you lads like him?
Yeah, I like him. He's
terrifying, eh? I've literally, in my notes, I've got vicious, violent, and menacing with 3 of the things that I wrote down about him, eh?
Especially when his head's shaved,
Oh, he's fucking terrifying, man.
He's like a fucking 6'2" Joe Rogan with his head shaved.
His last fight, who did he fight? His last fight.
His last one. He had 2 losses to Nikolaev.
What's his name?
Who was after that?
No. I can't remember. I like him. He's got the deer tattoo along his chest. Anyways, he got his whole Remember his
Devin
teeth
Clark,
got knocked
that's
out.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that fight.
Devin Clark.
That
Devin
was,
Clark.
man. And he
Yeah, that was
continued
brutal.
fighting too. And what did he say in the corner? It's going to need surgery anyway. So they just kept going. I was like, it was his mandible broke, his jaw snapped, and his teeth attached to his jaw turned inwards. It was like, whoa, disgusting.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But he was terrified. He was terrified that whole fight.
Mm.
You could tell he was just so overwhelmed, and his dad was in his corner too, Like he's
get done like that. Yeah,
they mustn't have brought a towel, because if that was my son, I would have been throwing it in.
Bit of an issue on his gas tank though. Did either of you lads see him in? I think the Dustin Jacoby fight. He took another bloke. I'm super high on his Dustin Jacoby. We'll get into him another time. He took Eon late and got him by decision, and his gas tank just looked absolutely miserable. So I don't know, if it goes late, we might see Spann. How's Spann's gas tank? I can't recall from recent memory.
He doesn't really get out of the first couple of rounds, I think, from the last 3 fights we've seen him. I've actually got Spann for this one, boys.
Oh, do ya?
I'm gonna go Spann, yeah. Dude's a fucking menace.
By knockout, I'm assuming.
Yeah, just by knockout, just touches him. They're out. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I like it.
What other standouts have we got on? What is that noise? I don't know.
Is it on my side?
Maybe it was my side. I don't know. I shouldn't have brought attention to it.
It's Biggie. Biggie's come back. He's talking to you on the wall.
A couple standouts I've got listed from the card. Jake Hadley making his UFC debut. He coming off Contender Series last year. 8-0 UK prospect. Who's he fighting? Alan Nascimento. He's fighting Alan Nascimento on this card. He's fucking Jake Hadley, submission wizard. He's 25 years old, 8-0. I think 5 by sub, and I'm not sure what the rest come by, but he's really, really good, man. He looks awesome, and Alan Nascimento's got 14 subs of his own, so I'm super, super keen for that one. And then Nick Maximov got absolutely buried on the beginning of the prelims. He's a Diaz brothers protege. So I'm not sure if Dana was just like a big old finger to Nate there with that one. We'll bury your boy on the prelims. I don't know. But, he's taken on. Sorry, you go, Tristan.
Oh, then it's like, fuck you, Diaz, and then makes his boy fucking fight a Dagestani for his first UFC fight or something.
Not only did he get buried on the prelims, he's taken on Andre Petrosky, who's 7-1 and just a fucking powerhouse in his own right. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they are giving his boy the fucking old bit of a treatment, eh?
It's going to be too difficult to deal with.
Yeah. All right. Jarrett, what do you reckon? No, we'll recap the bets from last week. What am I doing? We can't just get straight into it. We're keeping a running total. I'm actually keeping a running total, so I'm going to tell you how much we're up or down each week as well. So last week we had a 3-leg multi. We had Justin Gaethje to win. That one didn't come through. Nearly did that. Yeah, nearly did. We had Joe Lozon to win, who didn't end up pulling through, so that's a push on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he poisoned Donald Cerrone. He won fair and square.
Actually, that one got rebooked this week as well, I think, for July. From memory, I might be wrong. I might be lying to you there. I'm not sure. And then OSP by KO, which, I mean, OSP got the dub, but didn't put him out, unfortunately.
He didn't even look like he was close either.
I expected more from him. And I think, Tristan, you told me last week, you were talking him up a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy into that. I'm buying into it. I'm buying into Tristan's hype.
Was I talking him up?
I don't know.
Shit.
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was Jarrett. I'll put you in it now.
No.
Oh, we were saying he has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, he's got heaps of power. Just put the house on him.
I don't know.
I hope he didn't.
Maybe his has been knocking on his door a lot lately.
Maybe. So we're down $10. I'm not counting the first week where the episode was fucked and we didn't get to put it out. So I've saved you $10 there. But what have we got this week, Jarrett? I'm excited for what we've got.
Mate, I'm playing it safe this week. I don't have much to go off though. It's just head to head, but
All right,
3
let's
in a
go.
multi. Let's go, Davy Grant. Got Davy Grant. He's back fighting. He had that good fight with
Oh,
Cheeto
yes, I
Vera.
remember that. Yeah, that was a great fight. That was
Yeah.
the one where he elbowed him and the blood trickles down there and there's like a massive
Yeah,
highlight.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's a
was
beautiful
one.
fight.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. So Cutelaba
Good
got
man.
him to win, and Yum,
Yarn to win.
he's paying $2.60. So that pays it's $4.70 for a 3-leg multi. It's not paying the best, but geez, it does. If they win, I don't look as bad.
$10 again, you reckon, Jared? $10 this week again?
Yeah, just yeah, I'd
I
just
think
put a
10's
tenner
fair.
on it, you know.
Everyone can afford to lose a 10, right?
Yeah, hit the power play and you get $5.
It's free money.
It's free money. It basically is.
All right, a little closer to home, we'll move on to the local spotlight. There's only one thing we can kick this off with, and it is the absolute fucking slugfest between Dimps, Gillies, and Josh Kuhne on Eternal 65. It's been called the best fight in Australian MMA history by a lot of people. It was a 15-minute round war, and pretty much exactly as you pegged it, Jarrett.
Yeah, my God, what a fight! Especially being there live. The atmosphere was crazy, man. Crazy. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. People out of their seats, everyone in the crowd was standing, and just like the heart that they both showed was just so incredible, man. Like Josh Kuhne is an absolute animal. He just kept getting back up and just coming in just as hard the whole time. Man, it was bloody entertaining, but I would have liked to see some more elbows in there. They were standing in the pocket and just throwing. I think Josh threw one once or Dimps threw one. I can't remember who it was, but it looked like it wobbled the other guy. And that's when Dimps broke his hands by the looks of things and still didn't throw elbow.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious. I felt bad for him, bro. They had him standing in the ring for like 10 minutes after the fight, and he's just there, like,
Yeah.
you could see how much pain he was in, but he obviously wanted to speak on the mic afterwards, but I was like, bro, get that man to the hospital and get him some fucking painkillers, eh?
Man,
Yeah.
felt for him, eh? Like he was in some pain.
So there was a
man.
little bit of controversy with, what's his, Peter Hickmont? That's the referee's name?
Yeah.
Peter Hickmont in the...
Did you think he waved it off?
Yeah, so I originally thought he waved it off. I thought it was a knockout. I had no idea it was that close to the end of the round. It wasn't till he put his hands back down and was like that, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just the end of the fight.
He went like
to
this.
begin with,
So
to
does
start,
that mean
he went like that as Josh fell? So that means it's off. And that's what I got from it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a knockout until they announced it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I had to go back on Fight Pass. Like while I was watching the fight live, I quickly went back on Fight Pass, and in the last 10 seconds, it's like the clock
that's
disappears.
Right, yeah. And you can't tell what's come when.
So we were counting down 10, 9, 8, and it was like right on the bell. But then he looked like he waved it off.
I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
I don't think, and I don't think. Sorry, like it wasn't worthy to be waved off. Let's be honest.
Nah, definitely not.
Not at all, because Josh was straight away getting back up to his feet.
Yeah,
like if Dimps followed up,
I think I said it. I said it to you when we were talking about it. The he needed. I genuinely think if that fight had another minute to go, I probably think it should have been stopped because there are four. And this is where personal biases come into it a little bit. But for the money that those lads are making on a national stage, is it worth taking that much of a beating like that? Both those, not just Josh. Like if Dimps had got knocked down as well, I mean, I think probably could have been called too. Like there was a lot of damage being dished out in that fight, and that's why I think Peter Hickmont was so quick to step in and say, like, nah, it's over, this is done, like, he's taken too much damage.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Just
I
my
don't
personal,
know.
like, I
How
don't
do
know, I
you?
might be completely
Yeah, I
off
never
base
thought
here.
about that, man.
I think like a referee has to have a job of leaving their opinion out of it, of whether they think you're taking too much brain damage or not. Like if you're still fighting back and not just covering up and
Yeah,
showing
okay.
that the fight's over, it's almost like you need to go unconscious before that
I
fight's
thought
waved
Josh was
off.
done. Like, I thought Josh was done when he hit the floor. It wasn't until after Peter Hickmont had waved it that he started, like, he was getting back up. Like, he was obviously moving. But yeah, put me in the same position and I probably would have done the same thing as he did. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me.
It's a hard
It
one
is.
again, isn't it?
It is. But
Yeah.
absolutely urge anyone who hasn't seen that fight. It's on Eternal 65, which is on Fight Pass. You can watch it for free if you got Fight Pass. Yeah, it's about as good as it gets if you like a fucking 15-minute war.
Fucking slugfest.
Two lads that
Slugfest.
just fucking move forward.
But I think as what you're saying, like the whole crowd was going crazy on their feet. Like I know Josh and I like Josh a lot, and I was kind of just sitting there and just watching it in silence because I was just like, oh man, this is kind of like hard to watch because I know how far Josh is going to go in his career and I know he's going to make it into the UFC and all these great things. And when I seen him taking that sort of punishment, I'm thinking, man, I know it's the main event, but not here, bro.
Yeah.
Wait till you're on Contender Series to do that shit.
Mm.
He did that
Bro.
on Contender Series. He's instantly a star. Both those guys would have got
exactly right.
contracts.
That's a great point you make there, man. Yeah, that's 100%. That's a performance you save for the Contender Series to get that contract. That's...
But Josh would have known that they were all watching him. All
And,
the scouts are watching
I mean,
him. And
neither of you lads, both of you don't have Twitter, but it's amazing how many people have reshared that fight on Twitter in the last, I don't know, three or 4 days, whatever it's been since it was on. Like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, this one dude, Kaposa, just all over everything mixed martial arts, no matter where it is, what card it's on in the world. If there's a highlight, bro, he has it. And he could not stop talking about this, man. So it's crazy to see how far that fight's gone overseas.
Fuck yeah.
rightly so.
Alan Philpott and Justin Van Heerden. I got a chance to see the opening minutes of this round. I think just after Alan had gotten taken down for the first time, and then I missed the rest of the fight. Either of you lads want to give a rundown of this one?
Take it away, Jarrett.
You see it, Tristan? Yeah. Yeah, he did well. He just got straight back up. Like he was down for a little bit, but I was really impressed at how well Philpott did to get back up. Showed some really good anti-wrestling, and I was just really impressed with how patient that he was in that fight. And he really did look like a guy that had 50 MMA fights, which he has. So I was pretty impressed with it. Some of the techniques he was doing, I really resonated with them. What about you, Tristan?
Yeah, fucking yeah. I thought the same. I was impressed with that fight too. And yeah, man, when you say 50 fucking MMA fights, that's insane. It's an insane amount. Like that.
You're
How old is he,
crazy,
Jarrett?
man.
Is he in his 30s? I'm not even sure if he's in his 30 yet.
Oh, I'd say yeah.
Have they all been in
not
Australia, Jarrett, or?
No, because he's from Ireland,
Yeah.
like North Ireland. So he's fought on one championship.
Yeah, he was on the Warrior
and
Series,
he's
wasn't
he won the Warriors Series. He's fought all over the place.
What was I looking up? His age?
He's fought all over.
29. He's 29
He's
years old.
No.
Maine.
What the?
That's pretty nuts.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
Oh, nuts.
Yeah, I think you were saying, Jarrett, pretty high, as far as experience goes and technique, pretty high level fight. Yeah.
Indeed.
Very nice. And then you had the young fellas that you were cornering. You were the head corner this week, past weekend, for Dom Aston and Mitch McLaren.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
didn't
didn't?
corner Mitch. He's from Tribal MMA,
okay.
but I
Yep.
cornered Dom. And yeah, just an unreal fight to corner. Like Dom got split with a
I
headbutt
did see
pretty
them
much
on the
straight
photos,
away,
yeah.
and I seen him started touching his eye. I was just like hyped up, got in the guy's face. He was like talking some mad shit, like almost like growling at him or something. Like it was crazy. And I'm just like, calm down, because I know what he's like. He'll just like get he tastes a bit of blood and he'll just go
Yeah.
in for the finish, and he could run into something, which he did. The other guy kept jumping, good flying knees up the middle, which were quite dangerous. He was a good fighter, but Dom played extremely smart fight, held him on the cage when he needed to, and when he let go of him, he just landed some really good stuff, spinning back kicks and everything. Easily won all 3 rounds, I think. So good fight. And then Mitch McLaren, I didn't really get to watch it other than bits and pieces around the back of the screen when the guys were all doing
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
computer stuff. And hell of a fight. His opponent, I seen him hitting pads in the sheds beforehand, and he looked like an absolute animal. Like he's a great fighter, but like sparring with Mitch, I know
Yeah.
that Mitch is
Yep.
good, really good. So I wasn't surprised when I looked behind and seen Mitch kicking him in the head and tagging him, and then locking up a triangle and winning by submission. So great fight from both
Wonderful to see,
boys.
eh?
Impressive.
Wonderful to see. As far as getting back in the ring, are those lads keen to get back in soon, or they're taking a bit of a break?
Oh man, I think they'll be wanting to get back in. Dom had like a broken thumb, like in camp. Like he went into that fight for broken hand, and
Bastard.
I was screaming for the right hand the whole time. Every time he threw it, he like wobbled the guy, but I didn't know that he couldn't throw it because his hand was.
Oh fuck, that's a bit rough, eh?
Yeah, the referee nearly stopped it because of the cut too. Yeah, but I just kept putting Vaso in at each round as big as the round before, till I had no more Vaso to put in it. I was like, oh god.
Oh, that's not a job for me, man. Eh? I'm the type of dude that'd wince at someone else's cut and they'd it'd put them off. You need someone that's strong and be like, nah, you're sweet. I'd be like, oh, fuck, don't know, man. Eh?
That was the first time I've ever had to do it. But I remember when I left to go to the fight, I didn't have Vaso, and I remember going up to my coach, going, "You got Vaso?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, someone there will probably have it." And then we both thought, "Oh, hang on a second, it's Dom we're talking about here. There's probably going to be blood." So then we found the Vaso, and I was glad because they weren't going to put
Yeah,
Vaso
no.
in it. It was up to me to
So
do that.
I didn't realize that. So they don't have cut men there. They don't have official cut men.
Well, the doctor had a look at it, and then we had like 10 seconds left of the round. He's like, "Put something in it." So I had Vaso wiped.
Just
wiped a bit on
Dom,
the side
stick
of
your
my hand.
pinky in there and stop it from bleeding and hit him with the other hand while the rest of this round runs out.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, and I asked questions about Vaso before the fight. I kind of feel like I
Yeah.
manifested it to happen.
It's all on you. It's all
So
on
sorry, Dom.
you.
all on
And the
me.
last thing I think we got to touch on the local spotlight, Jacinta the Juggernaut Austin has a kickboxing fight booked on the 25th of June in the land of the rising sun against Japan's undefeated Saho. I don't know a whole heap about Saho. I think she's, I don't know, 6-0 or in kickboxing, something like that. Regardless, Jacinta is an absolute weapon. You'll see her in MMA in the coming years. She's competing at the moment, but yeah, I think finding it a bit tough to get a fight locally. So kickboxing overseas it is for the moment, but yeah, well worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome. Imagine fighting in Japan. They got like the silent crowds. You know,
Too
everyone
respectful to
just.
say anything.
Tristan, did you get over to fights while you were over there in Japan?
Did I actually never watch any fights there, man? No,
Yeah.
I never checked them out.
Yeah,
But I should have.
I wanted to go to
was like-
to one of the Risen cards while I was over there. There was one on, but I couldn't swing it. I couldn't fit it in. But fuck, man, it looks like an experience. They go off.
Yeah, they fucking go off. I trained at like one of the gyms that like a Risen fighter like fought at. Fuck, I forgot his name actually. That's like his gym actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like his big fight was coming up that weekend or whatever, and I was so hyped for it. I was like, fuck yeah, I tuned in, he gets like knocked out in the first round. I'm like, fuck, bro. He comes in all depressed next week into the gym.
Oh, man. Does that? So I've not having been in that experience before. That's, I mean, having one of your teammates get knocked out and lose a big fight. How is that in the gym the next Monday or the next time that they come in? Does it put like a damper on everything, or does it depend on their spirits?
From my perspective, like, yeah, like I remember what my brother lost a hell of a fight too, a 5-round fight, and like I just woke up the next morning and just went in the shower and just fucking cried,
right.
man.
That's rough, eh?
Like I was like so upset, bro. So upset for him, man. Like, yeah, I tasted defeat just from
Yeah.
what he went through, and he showed so much heart. But other than that, like, you know, I've been overseas with Reese in Singapore and seen him lose a fight too, and like that was hard. That was really hard. Like I cried then too. But like baby on the way, and they only give you 50% to show and 50% to
Oh,
win.
is that how they work the fucking financials? Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, think about like when you get to that level and you know how much is at stake because it's your living. It's just like all this hard work is like to survive, and you're like fighting for survival basically. And when it doesn't come through, it's like it just
Yeah, it's
would
pretty
break
crushing.
you, you know.
Fuck, that's rough, man. I shouldn't have really asked that question. We're ending the podcast on a bit of a fucking down note here now. Like, we don't.
That's the
That
fight.
is the
That's
fight
the fight
game,
game,
man.
though. You know, there's always a winner and there's always a loser, and like, I even feel upset, very like emotional. Not as much anymore, but like my first few fights for my opponent, a lot. Like I think about them and knowing how good I feel, and I'm like, they nearly had a taste of feeling this good, but unfortunately they didn't. They're probably at home crying right now. And I'm here having fun, and that's a pretty like I'm a pretty empathetic person. I really do
Yeah.
feel for people like that. You get used to it as it
I
goes
suppose you'd
on.
have to. What's your other option?
Wow, man.
We just got real deep and philosophical here.
Yeah,
Eh?
interesting insight. I think that's something that probably like totally depends on the person as well. Like, you know, you said you're pretty empathetic
Yeah.
and yeah, Jarrett. So, but I like.
Well, I've got you build a really good relationship with those people that you fight, you know, like it is as weird as it sounds, it's like a very intimate thing because you're like this close to each other and there's this breathing going on. You can hear them when they're panicking, you know that you're breaking them. And in the end, when you're like trying to finish them, it's almost like it's not even about like, I'm trying to hurt you now. It's like, you poor bastard. I'm just trying to put you out of your misery.
Mental.
And then you look at it and you're like, sorry, I couldn't do it quicker, man. I was trying to make the ref call it, but for your own good.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. You don't think about it watching it on TV.
That, man, and it's like it's the old saying: "To the victor goes the spoils." But you don't see any of the suffering or really anything else that other person goes through because I mean, especially on the highest level. People just go into hibernation for a couple of days and don't have to deal with anything, and you know it's nuts. You don't really think what they would be going through after. I mean, say Rose having lost that 5-round snooze fest, but still.
Dude, like, definitely the brutality of it, man. Like, obviously, when everyone's first getting into MMA or whatever, watching it, like, it seems quite brutal, and you kind of just, I don't know, the thrill factor maybe just wears that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
But dude, there's been times where I've been like, you know, had a little bit of, you know, had a little something, and then I watch the fights, man. It gives me a complete different perspective on it. I'm like so compassionate towards it. I'm like, oh, it becomes quite hard to watch, you know.
And bro, and that's so funny you mentioned that because I had a little bit of something before the Tony Ferguson Michael Chandler fight, and I was when that knockout happened, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how I feel about this. Like, it's an odd feeling, hey. It really is.
Yeah.
It's to watch someone get knocked out like that and stay unconscious on the ground for 2 minutes. Like, that's not entertainment anymore. It's scary. It's a scary thing to think about.
Yeah, and then to see Chandler, like he was jumping
4 or
around a lot,
5
not really
backflips or
getting
something.
even
Like
about.
the amount of backflips he did in a row.
Didn't even look at Tony. I'm like, man, Tony,
Yeah.
I think he's dead, man. You should probably just go and check on him. But when you win, though, you've
It's just
worked so hard
exhilaration.
towards this goal. You're not thinking about anything apart from what's going on right then and the happiness, and you're thinking about all the hard work that you've put in. And this is what I try to explain to people. When you see a guy get hit and he goes down, he's quite obviously like done, and then a guy goes up and follows up on him. People are like, I don't like that part of the sport, and I say to them, well, I tell you what, like if you've trained, if you understand how hard these guys they're putting it, the effort they're putting in, when you see that guy hit the ground, you don't believe it's over yet. You want to follow up and make sure. You're worried they're going to like open their eyes and get a hold. I fully, completely understand why people follow up as well because of that. It's how bad you want it.
Yeah, it'd just become instinct as well. I think at some point, like until the referee steps in, that fight's not over.
100%. How many times have we seen guys kind of go to walk away and then the person come back? Did we see it with Kai Kara France? He went to walk away from one of the fights and then back to life, and then I think Kai knocked him out again. But it could have been a lot different, you know.
Very well could have. All right, we're coming up on 1 minute 20. We've done pretty well today, boys. We're going to try and keep these episodes probably around an hour from here on going out. Last week was we went a little bit on the long side. But yeah, anyone who's still listening, super appreciated you tuned in. Yeah, any fan subs, send them to the Punch Drunk MMA pod. I'll say that again because I absolutely fucking butchered that. punchdrunkmmapod@gmail.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, thumbs up and subscribe. If you're audio only on Spotify or whatever platform you're listening on, rate and review. That does absolute wonders getting us out there. And don't forget to follow us on social media. CFerg MMA for myself on Twitter. Punch Drunk MMA on Instagram. J Will Chillerman for Jarrett on Instagram. And Elkmeat MMA on Instagram for Tristan. Have I forgotten anything, boys? Does anyone have any parting words that they want to leave the audience with this week?
No, just love being here, love chatting MMA, and I know a few of my mates are tuning in to the pod, so g'day to everyone
Shout
back
out
home.
to everyone in Nara.
Thank you. 2541, baby.
I still love the fucking 2541 you threw up on the last Eternal fight. I think that's just fantastic, eh? A nice little fucking tribute to home. All right, let's get the fuck out of here, boys. We'll be back next week.
Sign out, boys.
Around the same time.
Thanks,
Cheers.
boys. Appreciate it.
Boys.
See ya.